Alright, hello YouTube, back with the next episode of the quest for Kethane. And just first off, I want to make a little announcement, which I think is kind of a very miniature milestone for me, but still, milestone at least. Up to 4,000 views. 50 some videos and 4,000 views. Not the best, but you know, it could be worse. I see that as an achievement, and I'm getting somewhere. Anyway. Today we're going to launch the fuel segment piece for the Lunar Space Station. And as you guys can see, we're using the Kethane miner from before that basically, you know, had a rough landing and broke the engines off. Now, the only thing that's different though is this one has landing legs, as you guys can see, which is right above the miners, the drills. The idea is that those things will deploy and protect the engines when we land. That right there is as low as I can get them without having to move the drills, so we'll see how that works. But also, I figured, you know, both these things are going to go to the moon in roughly the same spot. So why not just strap a payload onto this lander, which has, you know, the strength to be able to push it up, which it does. So I figured, you know, just go ahead and do it. Now, the fuel tanks, though, I have edited the configuration file on, and they each hold like 34,000 units of something and 44,000 units of the other something. So basically, this thing can hold an enormous amount of fuel. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the throttle for the moment. Go ahead and put this right there. We can go ahead and circularize our orbit real quick, and while we wait for that to come up, I'll show you guys real quick. One tank holds 36,000 and 44,000. And the total amount of liquid fuel we can hold is 253,440. The maximum amount of oxidizer is 309,760. Each of them have their own converters, which we will later attach modified Kethane storage tanks, which hold, you know, a very large amount of refined, well, not refined, but raw Kethane. I'll probably do that next, I'm guessing. But also we gotta start thinking about putting the warehouse, that you know, orbital warehouse, into lunar orbit, which is gonna contain nothing but food, water, and oxygen for our Kerbals, for the lander and for the space station. That way, in case they need to refuel on, you know, their either food, water supplies, anything, any of their rations, we can just orbit up to that, dock to it, transfer the resources over, undock, and go back down to the lunar surface and continue our mission. And basically, what we might do fairly soon is put a probe on Duna. And this is just for the pure reason of, I think that if we go to colonize a planet later on in the series, Duna will be the most likely candidate, just because it has an atmosphere which I can use parachutes to deploy in, and realistically it is just a lot more realistically able to habitat. It's more, you know, realistic to colonize compared to, let's say, I don't know, Bob. So we're just going to go ahead and rendezvous after this circularizes anyway. We're past the apoapsis and we're probably falling into the atmosphere. Not yet. And yeah, I'm guessing we'll probably send some probes next and try to find a nice smooth landing spot. And for the actual base, I might end up installing Bobcat's home pieces. We might use that. I really don't know how we're going to do the colonization part of that. We'll figure that out when we come to it. Right now, though, we're just more focused on getting our Kethane mining operation in order. So it's going to let this go ahead and do its thing. because when I launched, I kind of put us in a bit of an inclination, and I really don't know how to correct that, so we're just gonna let that do it for us. And as you guys can see, on all of the docking ports there are green battery rings to help us find them in the dark. And I need to extend the solar panels soon as the time warp finishes, just to make sure we have enough power and nothing goes wrong. So here we go, the time warp's going down. Go ahead and extend the panels, and only one of the big ones are extending, so I gotta do the rest by hand, sadly. Extend. And yes, I know it's in the dark, but I still just want to go ahead and extend the panels now. That way I don't gotta worry about it later on. But the Kethane storage tanks will probably go directly on this section right here, or it will go on the larger 2-meter side of the station. I'm not really sure where it will be, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, basically. I was gonna say something, but I completely lost my train of thought there for a minute, and I have no idea what it was. Man, that just bugs me when I'm trying to, I got this idea of something to say, and then I can just completely forget. It's kind of annoying, really, We've all had that experience. I guess I can talk about the station a little bit more in our plans. One mod I'm debating about getting, that's the Kerbal attachment system, which has the winches and the hooks and all that stuff I'm sure you guys know about. Because it seems like to me that I could do several things with it that would really help this series out. Like, for example, that old miner that I've actually aborted the mission on, that was on the moon, that lost its engines. We could have winched that back up and threw it back into Kerbin, hopefully using the engines on the rescue craft so it doesn't burn up in re-entry, and recover it, successfully. And in career mode, that would actually make a huge difference, just because of the fact, in career mode, I'm sure that you'll be able to reuse pieces that have been recovered, and it will save money if you recover a piece, or pieces. And I'm sure we'll find that out pretty soon. From my understanding, Squad is really working hard and busting rear ends on getting career mode implemented as soon as they possibly can, which is really good news for the players. And this is a pretty cool shot right here. Got the engines going, the sun in the background. Nice. Anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and once we rendezvous at the station and drop off this fuel segment, I'm going to go ahead and cut the recording, because from there all we're going to do is land this lander in the same spot as the old one. And hopefully this one's engines won't break off, because hopefully those landing struts will be able to hold it off its engines just like an inch. I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot, just like an inch off the ground. That's the plan. Is it going to work like that? I don't know. I doubt it. I wonder if we got that Mooner intercept yet. I'm going to go ahead and disengage that. Delete this maneuver node. And go ahead and time warp up. Don't need that up anymore. Just gotta get the... Oh yeah, I do need that up still, the rendezvous autopilot. Because I cannot do a rendezvous yet. That will come in time. Kill the time warp so we don't, crash into the moon. I've done that many, many times. It's really not a fun thing to do. You got, hours of work flying this and building it and perfecting this mission, test flight after test flight, and then suddenly you time warp and crash into the moon. It really sucks doing that. And there's this lag spike as we change the sphere of influences. So it looks like we got no parry-ups because right now we're on a crash course. It's always a nice thing. So let's just get a little bit closer and we'll go ahead and start retrograde burn. Right about there is probably close enough because I want to make sure I got enough time to do the actual burn. And these nuclear engines only pump out, I think it's 300 kilonewtons, I believe is the correct term. And there it comes around. This didn't take as long as I was expecting, so I am burning the right way, ain't I? I don't think I am. Oh, let's see here. Right there's north, so be that way. So I need to. Which way is that craft going? I think it's going this way, so I need to. Yeah, I'm not good with orbital navigation. Yeah. So I think we need to burn right here, maybe? I think, I don't know. Yeah, there's where we need to burn. And then we can circularize it once we get down to periapse, which is at... I don't see it anymore. At 67,000, which is great. That is a very good height to do it at. Just gotta circularize at that point. And I'm not time warping too extremely fast because usually when I do, I'll miss the target that I'm going for, and yeah. And of course, though, I could have just enabled McJeb there a little bit ago to do all of this part for me. But I'm trying to do more and more of it manually just for the experience of it, you know, and it's funner to do that way. And it's funner for the viewers. I've watched several videos of people who use just McJeb to do all their maneuvers and everything. And it's just not as good as if you see someone actually doing it without McJeb. So I think right about there is going to be pretty much as good as we get. So I'm just going to go ahead and engage autopilot here for the rendezvous because I do not know how like these intersect nodes up here work. I don't know how any of that stuff works. So I'm just going to let this thing do it for us. Let's see here, something though. Right there is our actual. Is that it? It's on their side of the moon. Oh, that's it. It's been there a couple of days now, I think. Let's see, it says set on day 6. I don't know what day it is though. And see, I wouldn't have matched planes, which is what it's doing right now, because it looks like to me they're on the exact same plane. This is what it looks like to me. I'm obviously wrong, but... And that's got an extremely bad FPS drop there looking at the moon, which is unusual. You like the Jeopardy theme to be playing right now, you know? Dun 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 dun. Okay, I'm gonna stop that now. And this is the whole reason right here as to why I got the green battery banks on the docking ports. In a situation like this, it's kind of hard to see where you're docking to. It's right there illuminated, so you can pretty much tell where it's at, even though you can't see it. So they're establishing a new orbit at a higher altitude, apparently. Not really sure why, but, you know, whatever it's doing, I guess just go right ahead. Also, I would like some suggestions, even though at the moment I have hardly any views on any of my videos. Usually the max is about, well, the average, I'll put it that way, is about 30 per video. What do you guys think? I mentioned earlier about colonizing Duna later on in the series, because once the moon runs out of Kethane, it's going to be on to Minmus, and then from Minmus, I will probably go to Duna next. Just because of the fact it's a habit to go out in the solar system. And as I said, it'd be like the easiest planet to colonize. So if you guys have a different suggestion, another suggestion for a different planet, such as, I don't know, Eve, which I have honestly never been to Eve yet. I've had this game for I don't know how long, but I've never been to Eve. So whatever planet you guys think, I will go for. Lathe would also be a pretty good choice. Only problem is having enough Delta V to get there. But with these nuclear engines at their 20,000 ISP, you could probably get there no problem. And plus the fact we've got, you know, a giant refueling station here in lunar orbit, which I can actually put into solar orbit. I'm assuming that's what you would call it. Because you got Kerbin orbit, Minmus orbit, lunar orbit, solar orbit. Makes sense. Anyway, I could put it out there and then refuel if need be. Or even I could use Kerbal attachment system. And, well, first off, attach parachutes to a fuel, you know, system like I'm carrying right now. Once that is on to the ground at Lathe, I could actually use the Kerbal attachment system and transfer fuel into planes, and I could do plane research, I guess. Which, yes, I could do on Kerbin. It's just not as fun on Kerbin. Or, you know, I could even launch rockets off of Lathe. And I like that. McJib just missed the target by 3 minutes and 44 seconds. See, that's what I usually get for time warping. And I was got to match planes again for some odd reason. I'm really debating about just using HyperEdit to rendezvous with the craft. I'm beginning to think it'd be a lot easier than this. I'm going to give it one last try, and if it still screws it up, I'm going to just go ahead and use HyperEdit. Now, the way I see it, we could just very simply, right up here at the closest approach, just zoom on over to it, you know, match the velocity, and we'd be good to go. If it really works like that, I don't know or not. Just the way I see it in my mind working. So, let's see. 0.2, 0.1 meters a second. Nice. So now we're circularizing our orbit now. As I said, this seems way more complicated than what it needs to be, so just my opinion. Oh, and also, one other suggestion I would like to hear from you guys. If there is a certain mod you'd like to see used to colonize another planet, you know, leave a comment on the video. Because I read 90% of the comments, because, you know, I don't have many viewers at the moment. I got time to do that. And just, like what mods? Like, I'm planning on using the home pack by Bobcat, but if you guys have a different one, maybe a better one, just, let me know, and I'll look into it. Okay, we're not doing another phasing orbit up to 78 kilometers. No, that's not freaking happening. Now, the way I see this, if I go over here and I point my craft into where's it at? Okay, so it's over there. So we're just going to point our little nose around here to wherever it's at. Which is that pink dot right there, if I recall. And we're very simply going to go towards it. So right now we're actually drifting away from it at 17 meters a second. So I'm just going to first off kill that down to 0 and then boost it up to about 10 meters a second that we're going towards it. And just hope that I don't put the thing in a bad orbit and we crash into the moon or something like that. Okay, so now we're going towards it, I assume and I hope. See 18.3. Yeah, we're getting closer to it. Good. Oh, crap. Where's it at? Okay, we got a problem. Because when I did that, okay. Time for a little bit of cheating. Let's see. Edit an orbit. Rendezvous. Select vessel. It's down here. Untitled spacecraft. I think this is it. Now, where's it at? Haha. So, it's going to choose its docking port. Control from here. Zoom out. And actually, in the first, what would you call it? Attempt at doing this, I didn't put any RCS ports on the cargo, on the fuel tanks that were, moving to the station. So this thing was impossible to dock. I tried McJeb, I tried personally at it, and I couldn't do it. Neither could McJeb, obviously. So I decided, screw it. I'll scrap this video and we will go record it again tomorrow night, which is what we're doing right now. And as you guys can see, this has got a total of let's see, 4 rings, and there's 8 on the lander, and then I don't know how many's up there. Only thing that I do know for a fact is this thing was a pain in the butt to wait on yesterday. I gave it friggin' forever and I wouldn't do it. So just the added extra RCS on the cargo, this thing's already going 10 times better than what it did last time. We're already getting closer, and we're staying in the correct orientation. So last time it didn't go that smoothly. It's going to be probably the most boring part of the video aside from the whole rendezvousing with it. That right there was a pretty slow, boring part. Like, extremely slow, boring part. Oh, quit turning around like that. That's what happened last time when I didn't have the RCS on the cargo. It spun around so much. It's the main problem that it had before. And it looks like it still has that problem to a good extent. Oh, good. We're moving forward to dock. Could be good, so I can just give us a little boost. if the RCS would quit holding me back. Okay, maybe it should hold me back. So close. This is such a sweet moment after my failure last time, which you guys will not be able to see, because I deleted the video files and all that good stuff. Actually, the funny part was when I did it last time, it wouldn't dock with it, so I just used HyperEdit, the rendezvous thing, to try to get close enough so it'd be real easy. And when I did, it like glitched out and put my cargo halfway through the station core there, and it didn't end so well. And almost, if you guys can see the green rings on the battery banks. Oh, there it is. No. No. Oh, come on, please. Please don't spin around. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. I am a happy camper now. So we're just going to go ahead and what is this? Oh, solar panel. I couldn't tell from that angle. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and decouple. Use the RCS and the docking controls to back us out. And boom, there we go. The next segment is on the station. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I will see you all later.